Welcome to First Fridays with Marissa and
Chris.
Woo! We are so excited to be here. Oh my gosh. Can you believe we're in July? Where has the time gone, Chris? Where
Uh,
has the time gone?
I don't know. Well, we didn't have so much time on our hands, not, not being able to do anything, and now that things are opening up, it's like time has just gotten away from us. But we are in the middle of, almost in the middle of summer. It'll be over before you know it, and we just got here.
We just got here.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, listen, today's show is about influence. We're going to go right on into that topic, but I want to charge you as we're talking about it being the top of it being midway through the year. I want to say to you, while you're listening to the show and while we discuss the play of influence, the purpose, the position of influence, I want you to really, really think about where you are this at this point in the year, because it's critical. If you have decided that you wanted to do anything in 2021, if you had decided in 2020 that you wanted to do something, then now is the time for you to really, really think about what you've been doing all this time for this year. And if you're not on point, it's critical for you to get back on point and make sure that you finish the year strong. You're halfway through the year, so there's plenty of opportunity for you to still finish the year strong. And so there you are, Chris.
Well, before we go into the topic, we always have to do our housekeeping.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. So, um, make sure that you do this important thing right here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at First Fridays with Marissa and Chris. So every time that we go live, you'll get notified. And also connect with us individually. You can connect with Marissa on all of her social media platforms and her website at tcsconsultingllc.com. She's on Facebook, LinkedIn, and IG and Twitter. So make sure that you follow her there. And let's get to something awesome. Where is it? Where is it? You can get her magazine.
So
Go
it.
right over to her website that we showed early, just a minute ago, and subscribe. Some phenomenal people in her magazine. It's not just a woman's magazine. It is just a magazine about owning it. Whatever it is a great magazine with plenty of good things in it. Business people, authors, lifestyle, all kinds of stuff. But you got to subscribe so you can see it for yourself.
Yeah.
How you can connect with me. You can connect with me at restorationspeaks.com and also on my Facebook and IG at Restoration Speaks. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Restoration Speaks, because I also have a show called Restoration Speaks
Yes.
Sessions. So every time that I go live with that, you can catch that show as well. So going over to those things. I like to take care of that up front. And also, I have a book series called Restoration Speaks. It's a series of books. This is one of them, Restoration Speaks, the Bible Study Devotional. And also, it has a Bible study journal, which is a companion to that. And there's a couple of other books that you can see on my website. So go over to those places. I like to take care of that on the front end because sometimes you have to jump off. So,
We
so
want you to know.
get in touch with us before you jump off.
Yeah.
But we may say something that makes you want to connect with us, after the show, so you'll know how to get in touch with us. So this is what we're talking about today: influence. So Marisa has a great article that she's going to share and some things about influence.
Mm.
So I'm turning it back over to you, Marisa.
Turn it back on. And I need Chris because housekeeping is not what I do well. It's like now my house I keep well, but housekeeping, when
Yeah.
we get ready to talk about some stuff, I'm ready to always go in. And as I was mentioning before, was you still have time. So now we're at the halfway mark, but you still got the other half of the year. So
Mhm.
make sure that as we talk about the power of influence today, you take it as your own and influence yourself to finish the year strong. Don't think about what you didn't do. Don't think about what held you back or any of the circumstances. Right now, today, this is the first Friday of July. And so now you have the opportunity to wipe the slate clean and finish the rest of the year strong. So as we go into the power of influence, you can just take it and let it, resonate with you and empower you to finish the year strong. So I always talk about the fact that most people don't recognize intentionally that we are all leaders, right? Someone's watching us and following us by what they see us say. We never know who's watching us, but
Mhm.
we are always in a place of influencing because people look to us as leaders. They look to us as the go-to person. They have such respect and honor for us. Wouldn't you think, Chris? They don't you see that when people will casually just come up to you and say, "Well, wow, you really motivated me. You inspired me." These are people who are watching you, and there are people I've known over the years that will never say anything to you, but they have been watching you and what you have said in the public, out outright. What you've said have influenced them. Would
Yeah.
you agree?
Yeah, and I'll even go a step further. I have actually had people say to me, "I still remember what you said 5 or 10 years ago, and it helped me and it changed me." And yes, I do agree. You never know who's watching you. People are watching your every move, whether you know it or not. And how you move about, people can be influenced by that, both good and bad. And hopefully it's for good, that you are influencing people to be better because you're doing things better and learning and growing. So yes, I agree wholeheartedly. You don't know who's watching you. Definitely.
Yeah. So my concept, the framework by which I coach and work with other individuals is to shift their mind from singularity to you are the CEO of your life. So you're the chief executive officer of your life. So it's time to make executive decisions. And one of those executive decisions is how you carry yourself and to really be cognizant and present and knowing that what you say and do influences others. It has an impact that you are a leader, whether you desire to be a leader or not. You are a leader, whether formally through a job title, a position, through being a parent, an auntie, an uncle. You are leading. You are, whether you like it or not, you're a leader. So the best thing to do is to own it.
Yeah.
Own fact that you are a leader, right? Just own it. Just own it. And then become more effective and more intentional in your leadership. So I took the resource that I'm reading from and sharing with you is from the Human Resources of University of Florida on leadership. So leadership has been described as the ability to influence others. An effective leader moves followers into action, not with coercion, but by eliciting their desire and conviction in the vision and goals articulated by the leader. Misused influence can bring about catastrophic results, but properly channeled positive influence can bring about great change as individual actions align with group efforts to produce that gains that grow exponentially. So the point about this is once that leader is able to positively influence a group, a set of people, that group's efforts become can grow exponentially. What is it? Teamwork makes the dream work, right? A leader who leads with clarity, who also makes what the goal is achievable and realistic to those who are connected with that leader, and then demonstrates the payoff. What are the results? How does everyone benefit from it? That leader is successful. A leader who, through focus and deliberance, deliberate efforts, exerts positive influence in others, will build trust and become a true driving force towards excellence. And that's what the leader should desire to do. So, as you being an individual person who knows now that you're leading others, it is imperative that you begin to demonstrate. You don't have to be perfect. None of us are perfect, but
Mhm.
that you walk in a model that you would want others to follow as best you can. And so, what are your thoughts about that on leadership and influence?
Well, one of the things most people don't have a problem with following, they have a problem with dictatorship. So your style of leadership has to be one of what I learned about being a servant leader, which means you don't dictate. You bring people and you serve people, and as you serve them, you are more you are a more effective leader as a servant. I'll give you the scripture that describes it the best. That Jesus said is, in order to become great, you first have to become a servant. So when you serve others, when you are inclusive of others, especially with the traditional leadership is more of, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you what to do and you just do this. Servant leadership says, this is my vision. How can we make the vision live? It's
Mm-hmm.
inclusive. It's not me saying I'm the leader. We already know who the leader. The leader is always the one with the vision, but you need others to help you carry the vision out. So when you understand how to be more of a servant leader, then people are more apt to follow you because you are inclusive of them and not dictating to them. You're gently coercing rather than dictating. And
Mm-hmm.
that makes a difference. People are willing to follow someone who they know cares about them. And when I know that you care, that makes it easier for me to buy into the vision. And you want people to buy in to the vision. And when you include them and make it inclusive, not just this mine, this what we're gonna do, you do this, and that. When they say we, and I need your gifts, I need your strengths, I need your talents in order to pull this thing off, you make it easier for people to have buy-in. And when people have buy-in with your vision, they run with it and they help you to make that thing live. They help that business to thrive. So you have to be careful of, as they said in the article, of how you are influencing.
Mm-hmm. It's critical in your influencing to be successful, because if you are having a desire to influence someone, you want the results that you want from that, right? So you're setting out a goal to influence someone. So you're influencing in the one direction or the other. So the way that you're able to do that is by being a positive communicator. You have to communicate, and then you have to show care. So leading by influencing, increasing influences with others. The ability to influence is an essential leadership skill. To influence is to have an impact on behaviors, attitudes, opinions, and choices of others. Influence is not to be confused with power or control. It is not about manipulating others to get your way. It's about noticing what motivates them towards commitment and using that knowledge to leverage performance and positive results. And so this article also states that the outdated command and control method it rarely is effective, often leads to resistance. So that old, just like you were saying, that old tell them what to do, you better do this and you better, and let's think about that from the different roles that we have, right? Let's think about that. We talk all things business, but that's effective in parenting, that's effective in friendships and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
um, it's effective in your business when you're partnering or collaborating with others. It's effective in when you're in an organization volunteering. No one wants to be told what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know that they're being a part of a solution, that they're giving towards something being achieved. That's what they want to feel like. And so that whole command, and even with that whole be seen and not be heard thing with the kids, you know what I mean? That's out the door. Kids want to be heard. People want to be seen. They want to know that you see them, that you appreciate them, that you value them. Um, and that's, like you said too, also, that's where commitment comes in. And
Yeah.
you want people to be committed, not only committed to what your vision is, but a true leader not only inspires, educates, and lifts up. A true leader shows the way. Like, they show the way. They show people how to step into their own fulfilling lives. So you don't just, I always, when I'm coaching individuals that are in leadership positions, I always say to them, you are coaching your people. So even though, like with Own It Publishing, working with the EICs, our program, just really, really emphasizes the importance of when a feature, someone, a business or anything's being featured in the magazine, is to not only just have them in the magazine, but to care about where their business, how successful their business is as a result of being in the magazine. So we don't just look at you're coming in, you're going to be in the magazine. No, you have to coach them. So if you see areas by which this company can do much better or do well or be better positioned, share that information. If we have 13 magazines under our umbrella, so look at the other magazines and see where would this individual do better, positioning them in this particular magazine based on the industry or the field, or however they're coming into the magazine. So we're always caring about those that we are serving, right? We're caring about not only our vision and making the magazine look, reach our level of excellence, but we're also caring about the individuals that we partner with to have them featured in there, because it's important for you not only to think about your goals, but also to think about theirs, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Mm.
Know that you care about them, they're more apt to care about what you're actually doing. And one other thing too that I just thought about as you were talking is, who are you being influenced by? You also have to be very careful about that as well. Who are you being influenced by? And because you can be influenced by something that looks good and it's actually is actually not good. You know, so we have to be careful about that as well. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, you definitely have to. So it goes on to say a leader's ability to have influence with others is based on trust. You have to trust the source. Like, you have to be able to trust the source, and that comes from relationship. Because when you work, you're dealing with someone just in a 1 minute glance. You have one interaction with this individual. You can trust them because there's no depth to the relationship. So there's no time to evaluate or assess it because it's just that moment. But when you're dealing with consistency and building of the relationship, trust is a factor because trust is tried over time, right? You get to experience some things with them, and over time, you get to know whether you're going to really trust this person or have they proven themselves to trust. So it says that influence with others is based on trust. In fact, our influence expands in proportion to the amount of trust that exists in the relationship. And I said relationships are over time. Let's take a look at how leaders effectively build trust and increase their influence of others. Establishing credibility, right? So you have to establish credibility. And then that goes also to not only what people are saying to you, right? We don't always want to see we don't only want to hear what they're saying. We ought to want to see what else they're
What they're doing.
what they're doing. We want to see the fruit of their we want to see the harvest of their seeds.
Does
Right?
it match? Does what you say match what you actually do? Because character matters. You know, character matters, and we have seen such an erosion of character in leaders and integrity in leaders. Starting with the former president. I mean, no integrity, no character, and people have begun to mimic that same behavior and think that that is okay to act like that and to have, this thing where truth is relative. No, truth is truth. Either it's true or it's a lie. Ain't no shades of gray. So when we talk about that, character matters in leadership, because if you have a rotten to the core character and rotten integrity, you're influencing other people to have that same kind of character and integrity. And that's why we also have to watch who we are influenced by, because
Yes.
so many have been influenced by him and that behavior, and have continued in that behavior. That's why so much chaos. But we as Christians, we have to always be bearing fruit and displaying godly character, not just in church. The church building been closed for a minute. So we know that the building is not where church happens. The church is you, and the church
We are
is
the church,
you.
right?
So if whatever you there is no separation between your character, godly character, and fruit in your business. You should be
Hmm.
displaying that in your business, because you are first a Christian that does business.
Right.
They should not be separate. So you should be bearing fruit, period, in every aspect of your life. There should
Yeah.
not be the secular over here and the spiritual over here. How can I separate myself like that? Either
No.
I am who I am. I am a Christ follower that bears
Mhm.
fruit,
Yeah.
the fruit
Yeah.
of the spirit, that loves people, that is gentle and kind and faithful, and all of those things that the fruit of the spirit is. Either
Right.
I'm that person, period, or I'm not. I should not be this person here in the spiritual realm, and then in business I'm ruthless and dogged and hurting people and talking to people any kind of way and dogging people. But you see that,
Yes,
folks,
you do.
that,
You
that
do that.
people that say, I'll say it this way, people that profess Christ but have not confessed him, your fruit will tell on you. If your
Yeah.
fruit is always sour, honey, you better check your ticket. You better check the salvation ticket. You sure you punched that card, dear? Because your fruit should tell. Not that you're always perfect. I'm not always perfect, but I'm
No.
consistent in my godly character. I'm consistent in my godly integrity. And that should always be on display, whether you're in the business world, whether you're in the church world. It should never be a separation of who you are. Then that means to me that you fake. And I don't
Fake.
do fake. I can't do fake. I'm not no fake person. I am who I am here is who I am. I ain't faking no when I get over here, I'm gonna be this different person. I am who I am. I'm a godly person over here. I'm a godly person over here. I'm a godly person wherever I go, because that's just who I am.
Yeah. Hmm. Yes, yes, it's important. So I want to piggyback off of what you said in regards to adverse leadership. So poor leadership can seriously affect an individual's morale and can even cause that individual to plunge. So if a person, because you got to realize, and this is why this influencing thing is so the power of influence is so important, because it has a positive effect and it has an adverse effect,
Right.
a negative effect. And so we have to be cognizant of that, and you and I know, based on our belief, you're going to give an account for that. God will not be mocked. Whatever a man sows, so shall he reap. And
Absolutely.
so this is so important, because if you want results, if you are looking to get results, you have to become more strategic and intentional about your behavior. And also, as Chris is mentioning, what you're putting out there. What you're putting out there will come back to you. And so poor leadership leads to relationship turnovers. You know how you have friends coming and go. It's relationships turnover, demotivates their people staying connected to you, and it causes much less productivity than otherwise. So it kills the productivity. So if you are looking for people to help you accomplish something, guess what? Your poor leadership, whether you don't want to own being a leader, you do want to own being a leader, it's affecting your relationships. It's directly affecting your outcomes and your results. So if you want greater things, you got to do greater change. You got to change some things in order for you to really achieve that. In poor leadership, you dance around the hard decisions. You don't make effective changes that need to happen, and you give poor feedback. All of this has negative knockoff effects on how you can lead a team to burnout. You can burn people out with your poor leadership, unproductive process, and a lack of growth. So when we're talking to all things business, this is it. If you don't start leading effectively, and there's so many resources out there. So here, like I said, all I did was leadership. Look up leadership. Because in business, everything costs you money, right, Chris? We know that everything costs you money. But today, there's no excuses. You can go to YouTube and find out about effective leadership, how you can lead teams and lead others. Until you can afford to hire a coach, go out there and look at the YouTube channels. Get your resources. Understand the power of your influence on other people. Whether you realize you're a leader or not, you have a powerful impact on other people, and you want to hold your own self accountable to that. Because here it says, if you're not leading effectively, you can cause people to plunge. You can cause them to plunge. Do you want that on? And this is whether it's in your personal life, because the TCS foundation, the foundation of TCS in our approach to coaching is self. You got to make sure that you are highly aware of who you are. So it's about self, it's about career, it's about business. And so leadership and influence goes across all those domains: your life, your career, your business. If you are not leading yourself effectively, you're not going to be leading others effectively. And you want to address that as you enter into the last part of the year. Great leadership engages others and it builds connectivity. Leadership is not a solo act. If you want to influence others, they have to be involved. Seek input on important decisions that will affect them individually or the team as a whole. Involve people early on when proposing or implementing changes. Another way leaders increase their influence is through building connections with others. Seek to understand the needs, motivations, and values of others by showing a sincere commitment to what matters to someone else. You'll begin to build greater influence with them as they realize your actions include a genuine concern for their interests. That's exactly what you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what you said earlier. What are some of the ways that a leader can show genuine interest in others?
Listening.
Woo, go ahead, girl.
A good leader listens. And not just listen to respond, but listen to understand. And you don't have to agree with the person in order to have understanding. Sometimes people just need to be heard. And when they're heard, they feel valued. So that is crucial. And also, if you are a leader, especially if you have people under you, how are you helping them to grow in their leadership? Because good leaders build other leaders. Everybody under you should not remain a follower. They should be establishing their own leadership and not being intimidated um, or afraid that they're going to take something from you if you develop them. To me, you should be secure enough in your own leadership and who you are to want to see others grow.
Mhm.
Because if they're not growing, then they're not being effective in whatever they're helping you to do. If I don't want nobody who, when we first start, that you at the same place 6 months later.
Mm-mm.
You should be you should be here at least. Something's wrong. What kind of leadership is your leadership having impact on people, and what kind of impact are you having? You should want to see others grow, and you should also, as an effective leader of influence, you should also want to bring out their strengths and to learn what their strengths are. In my ministry, Anointed Women in Christ, we all focus on our strengths. So there are some that are strong in administration. There's some that are strong in missions. There's some that are strong in the marketing and PR. So each one who's strong in those areas work those areas. So then that's the way that we strive as a ministry and are effective in the world, because we focus on our strengths. So I'm not trying to get the administrative one to do the internet, social media stuff, and she ain't strong. That would be dumb. So you're good at the administrative piece, where I'm better at doing the social media and the PR and the marketing. So I focus on my strengths and help build them in theirs. That's what
Yes.
a good leader does, and influences them to grow in those areas. And one of the things I wanted to go back to, something that you said about learning how to be an effective leader or a good influencer, is get books. There are when I've realized that I was called to leadership, I have so many of John Maxwell's books on leadership
Mhm.
that I just started reading and studying and um, taking no, I would use them as my devotional time, just learning different things about leadership. And then I started taking leadership classes and leadership courses. Anytime I went to TD Jake's leadership conference, I took the track, because he would have tracks on just leadership. I
Mhm.
took track on leadership because I wanted to be a good leader. Okay, this is what you say I am. I want to be the best at it. So I learned how to use my influence. I've always been a good persuader. I've always been a good salesperson. I could sell you. I've
Mhm.
always I've always been able to do that. But how can I do that more effectively and have a greater impact in my influence? I had to learn some things that I didn't know, and I'm still learning. I'm a lifelong learner. I don't ever want to stop learning, because once you stop learning, you stop growing, and nobody else can grow. One who's ever up under you ain't gonna grow no further. You will cap off. Every
Mhm.
coach should have a coach. Every coach that has a coach should have a coach. So
Mhm.
you should always be learning from somebody that's better, somebody that's doing it better, somebody that knows more than you. You should never be at a place where you think you know everything.
No, 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 because then you're just like you said, then you're not growing. And
Mm,
then how do you expect other people to be open to you when you're closed? So it's very critical. And true leaders are in a place where they're humble enough to know that they can learn from others. So you tapped into a few things that will help leaders to be more effective. You need to do a skills analysis. So if you're looking at your team or you're looking at an individual, period. So I always try to take away just the corporate mindset and approach, because these methodologies can help you across the board when you're dealing with personal relationships, professional relationships, business relationships. It's very important for you to look and see the person that's in front of you and do a skills assessment. Because when you want to partner with them, collaborate with them, build relationships with them, you need to know what they are as a resource to you and how you can be a resource to them. So it cuts both ways. So you want to do a skills analysis and see where are their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and how is that married with your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. They should always be a marriage of what you have that I don't have, and what I have that you don't have, that together we can make it really, really work and get results that we are looking for. So effective leadership has to be clear in its expectations and practice accountability. To get great results, leaders must be able to enlist, persuade, and engage others. However, before inspecting anyone's commitment, leaders must clearly delineate expectations, define the results, and clearly communicate them to others. Once the results have been defined, practice accountability. That's critical too, is to make people accountable. But you have to also be accountable as a leader. And you also have to be apologetic when, because I know that in some mindsets, that the idea of apologizing is a sign of weakness, and I don't. And when I apologize, please don't take it as me being weak. It's me being humble and saying to you, I recognize that I could have did this better. And that's all apologies mean, that I could have did this differently and I could have did it better. And I could have honored you and valued you better. So, with that being said, in regards to accountability, speak a little bit about accountability in the leadership relationship too.
Well, you always want to be accountable to someone, because sometimes you can't see you. But
Mm-hmm.
when you have others that you trust to tell you, first of all, you definitely need somebody you can trust. But that person that I trust better tell me the truth about me.
Mm-hmm.
You see me doing something stupid, acting out of character, treating somebody wrong, and you say you love me, but you won't tell me that I'm wrong, then your place in my life is off. I have you in the wrong category.
Mm-hmm.
And you should want people, somebody, at least one, but it should be more than one. It should be three. You should have at least three people in your life that can speak to you and hold you accountable. If you look at great leaders who have fallen, check their accountability. Check
Mm.
what they had around them.
Yes, yeah.
If all they had was yes men or yes women, they were already headed for disaster. But before we go any further, let's take a
Yeah,
commercial.
let's take a break. We
Let's,
like commercials.
well, I launched my Restoration Speaks session show in
Yes.
month,
Woo,
and I
woo,
just want to show you the intro for that, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, and then continue on talking about influence. Well, make sure you catch my show every second Monday of the month at 9 p.m. And you can catch it. You'll never miss it if you go over to Restoration Speaks on YouTube and subscribe. Let me show you that one more again.
yes, yes.
There it
Subscribe.
is. Subscribe to that channel, Restoration Speaks, and you will never miss an episode. It was good. It was off the chain. God showed up. And what I did for that first show session was just really introduce what Restoration Speaks sessions is all about. You also can go over to Restoration Speaks sessions YouTube channel and watch that episode, so you can see what it's all about. So um, you'll want to catch the episodes. That's all I can say about that. But it was good, and I thank those who did tune in. I thank you for tuning in, even those who will go back and watch the replay.
Yes, yes.
So, we were talking before we went to the break, you asked me about accountability, and I was just sharing about great leaders who have fallen, and you can go back and look at who they had around them. Did they have somebody speaking truth to power, telling them, no, that's not right, no, that's wrong, you shouldn't do that, or speaking to them and holding them accountable. One of the things that I definitely have in my life are people, what I call covenant relationships. You have permission to hold me accountable, to speak truth to me, whether I like it or not, whether I get mad or not. Even if it costs the relationship, you should love me enough to hold me accountable. So it is crucial.
Yes, yeah, because it's called checks and balances. You want people to, you want to check yourself before you wreck
Yes,
yourself, right? So accountability is so important.
happened.
Yes, accountability is so important. If you do not practice accountability, people will contribute it to and unintentionally create a low trust environment where mediocrity is the norm. This directly impacts your ability to positively influence others. And so, just like Chris said, you want to be authentic. We want to being a leader, you come to a place where the tough conversations, like we said, poor leadership avoids the hard discussions. Effective leadership, tackles them with grace and ease, but they tackle them to ensure that both the leader is maximizing their potential in character and strengthening of character, as well as the follower, the subordinate, the one that's being influenced, as well as building up their character. So there are going to be tough conversations, but it's important to have them. And the connectivity and the concern for what matters to the ones that you serve will help you to have that grace in order to have those difficult conversations. Another attribute of a great leader that influences is the shared passion. One of the reasons why passion is so important is that it produces energy, right? It ignites others. There is a contagious quality to passion. Passion is not something you can fake. It must be real and authentic. In their book, Leadership Challenges, Coos and Posner state, if a leader displays no passion for a cause, why should anyone else care? What
Yeah,
do you think about passion?
yeah.
Share.
And if I mean, it's just what they said. If others see in you that you really don't want to be there, you really don't want to do this, why are they going to break their necks to do what you're not even passionate about? Passion, as the article said, ignites others to want to run with what you are passionate about. When you ever talk to somebody and you're just having a regular just a conversation, and you bring up something that they are really excited about, their whole demeanor and everything changes because they are passionate about what you're now talking about. So if you don't care about it, why will others care about it? If you don't have the passion, and especially when you talked about hard decisions, when you're
Mm,
not passionate about something, because everything in business, everything in life, there are hard parts. So
yeah,
if you're not passionate about that thing, when the hard parts come, you'll be quick to jump off and throw in the towel. But if it's your passion, you will keep going even through the hard parts, and people will see that and value that, and they will want to follow you through the hard parts. But I
yeah,
want to go back to something that you said about apologies being, people viewing them as a weakness. It's really the flip side. of that.
Yes.
It's a strength in being able to humble myself and apologize and say that I'm wrong. That takes strength. That's not weakness. A weak person says, and a weak person who's in pride says, I know I'm wrong, but I'm not saying I'm sorry.
Oh
That's,
my
that's
gosh.
because that's pride. That's a pride, and pride comes before a fall. But strength says, you're right, I was wrong. And more strength is given when I can apologize even when I'm not wrong. Just to put things back on a even keel and
Yep.
build something up in that person who needs to be built up at that time. And I can say, you know what, I know I really wasn't wrong, but I'm going to apologize
Yep.
anyway, so they can see how much I care more about them than I care about my pride. That I
Right.
can humble myself and say, yep, I'm sorry. I
Yep.
didn't mean to do that, Marissa. You're right. I'm wrong in this thing. How can I fix it?
Right.
And one thing that a real apology never comes with a but. Don't say I'm sorry, but that but means everything that I just said before that. Really, I just negated everything that I just said. Just say I'm sorry, and the
Yeah.
sorry I didn't mean to. Just say I'm sorry. Sometimes people just need to hear that you acknowledge that they're hurt, that they were hurt, that something that happened affected them in a negative way.
hmm And it
I'm
goes.
sorry.
Yeah. And when you apologize, it goes back to just this section here where it says engage others and build connection. At the close of this, it says your actions include a genuine concern for their interest. So when you have done someone wrong, and it also solidifies that trust, right? So when something is done that's wrong, there's a breach of the trust, right? So now trust is in jeopardy. And then when you go and say, hey, whoa, I recognize that what I did really, had an adverse effect on you. It hurt you, or it didn't meet your expectations, or whatever. It really says that you have a concern more for them than how you look, more
Right.
for them than how you appear. That to me is so critically important for leaders to be able to do, is to just apologize to your people, because then it makes them want to commit. They see your vulnerability, they see that you're not perfect, and that you're willing to be transparent about your lack of perfection, and that there is a restoration. There's a restoration that comes from relationship, that there can be restoration. And then you took it even a stretch further to say that there are often times where leaders will apologize just to bring back to kill divisiveness, right? And
Yes.
to restore the relationship for the greater good, because it's not, when you lead and you're a servant leader, it's not about you, it's about the people that you serve, to make sure that they're whole, healthy, and they're able to live a fulfilling life,
Yeah.
one that is filled with peace and
Yeah.
serenity. And that leaders also protect too. And so, in closing of the passion section, research has shown that one of the traits people admire most in leaders is their ability to be forward looking. It's not enough for a leader to have a vision. He or she must be able to communicate it and to get others excited about it and supporting it. Effective leaders influence others by sharing their enthusiasm, their excitement, and passion. Uh, and so that's very important, because just like it said in the beginning, it's the energy level, right? It's the energy level. It's the energy that's transferable, right? Because once you talked about TD Jakes, you talked about Maxwell, when they speak, right? And when you're reading, even when you're reading what they say,
Mhm.
there's such an excitement, a passion, hope, right? Hope that says you still can do this. Like we're saying, it's halfway through the year, but there's still hope, because there's still more of a year left for you to, where you were off track, to get back on track and get it done and finish strong. And so that passion, that energy, is really, really transferable. It's very, very important.
Mhm. It's also that I believe you. I believe what you're saying based on how you articulate it. If
Mhm.
you can't tell me what this is about, and you are doubting it in the way that you're delivering it, how can I have buy-in? When So you have to be passionate and be able to articulate the vision, that you have, and how you want people to come along. You have to be able to, as the article said, there's an art to leadership, which is an art to coercing people in a
Mhm.
good, and
Yeah.
getting them excited about what it is you're excited about, what it is that you're trying to do. If we came on here, we're not sure about what we're talking about, but how do we expect people to keep watching? We gotta be passionate about the things that we're actually talking about, to get people excited about
Mhm.
that we're actually talking about. So yeah, that's those things are very, very important as an influencer.
Very, very important. And then also, you have to be open to being influenced. Influence should be reciprocal. So leaders, that's where you get that give and take. Where you're saying that you mentioned earlier, Chris, in regards to always learning. When I have my group sessions with my EICs, I share in that environment to say, hey, I don't have all the answers. Although I'm leading this session, I'm looking to say, share your challenges and what you did to overcome those challenges. Share those challenges in this session because you may have something that I don't have. There's multiple ways to solve problems. And there's not just always a one answer. There's multiple ways. And so giving them the opportunity to then take the lead, like you said earlier too, was leaders lead other leaders, right? We want, a real leader doesn't want people who are always dependent on them. We want you
Mhm.
to build up, maximize, and tap into and unleash all your skill sets and all your potential, because when you do, you free us up as leaders to do even more for you, right? But if we have a bunch of people who are dependent and pulling and weighing on, that slows us down as leaders. So a wise leader wants to cultivate an environment filled with leaders
Mhm.
that they're leading. So influence is reciprocal, should be reciprocal. One of the quickest ways to increase your influence with others is to be open to influence yourself. This means truly demonstrating openness, being willing to listen. You said that earlier. Listen to others' ideas, invite and consider alternative viewpoints, make use of others' skills and expertise, maximize them. And when you maximize their skill set, what do you do with them? You build up their confidence. You make them feel like, yeah, I'm a part of the team. You get that buy in, like you said earlier. By
Mhm.
displaying openness, you'll begin to build respect and trust with others, and that will increase your influence.
Yes. And one thing that is the worst thing is somebody that don't respect you as a leader. That is the I don't have one. It's easy to earn respect, but once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. Once it's gone and
Right.
people don't respect you as a leader, it's hard to gain that back. That's why it is so important for you to be held accountable, to grow as a leader, to be open to being wrong, to say you're sorry, to be open to other people's opinions. If you
Mhm.
think you got all the answers and you think you know it all, why do you have a team? If
Right.
it's I in team, then just do you. That's one of the things that I have had to say a lot, not as much now, but in the beginning with my ministry, AWIC, is if God wanted it to be anointed woman in Christ, he wouldn't have made it anointed women.
Right.
So I do this without you.
Yep.
I need your gift. I need your talent. I need
Yes.
your opinion. I need your expertise. If I didn't need it, he would have changed it to singular,
Yes.
and it would just be me. So I'm not. How can I have a meeting and nobody's giving input? I could just have a meeting by myself. So a good leader needs and respects the opinions of others, the other person's perspective. I want somebody to challenge my perspective so I can see it different, so it can be better. Because I'm a visionary, but I see the big picture. I
Yes.
need somebody on my team who see the details, who
Yep.
see the potholes and
Yep.
the
Yes.
potential that could happen. It doesn't mean that they don't have faith, but okay, but this could happen. What we're gonna do if this happens?
Yes.
Somebody who can see those things. I see free. That person sees free with a purchase of a sandwich. So I'm fussing out the lady behind the counter. It said free. Where my free sandwich? And I get a tap on my shoulder. But Chris has said with the purchase of a sandwich. Oh,
Uh,
so I'm not making a fool out of myself. I
right.
got others on my team who can see what I don't see.
Yes.
That's a good leader. If
Yes.
you just want to be the boss, the head, what is called HIC, ACN, is that what it's called? HICN,
HICN. What's HICN?
HINC,
H.
head,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
HNIC is
yeah, yeah,
HNIC.
you know what it is. You know what I'm talking about, girl. That right there.
Yeah, that right there.
The head nigga in charge. If you
Yes.
just want to be that, then you can be that, but you will not be a good influencer. You will not be a good leader, and you will have a lot of turnover in whatever you're doing. But
Yes.
an effective leader can do all of those things and still be confident in who they are. I know who I am. I know who God made me. I know my purpose. I'm walking in it. Your shine don't diminish mine at
No.
all. One thing that I said and I say all the time, I loved what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And I wanted to learn how to do what I saw you doing.
Right.
So why would I be jealous and oh she thinks she that? Yeah, I think she that too. That's why I want to want to know how to do some of what she's doing and put it
Yeah.
in my arsenal, in my DNA to make what I'm doing better.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that to me, a good influencer is always influenced by others who are doing it better and bigger than they are. I never want to be the best in the room. I want to be amongst the best so I can see the best, and it will always make me have to come up a little more. Oh, I ain't doing enough. She
Yes.
doing it like that. What I need to do?
Mhm.
Especially when I hear a good preacher preach, a woman that can preach her behind her. Oh my God, I ain't studying enough. What is she doing? I go straight to my father. What's she doing? What do I need to do to bring it like that? Because girl is bringing it. It doesn't diminish anything in me. That's silly. That's silly to me.
Yeah.
So
That's
yes,
insecure.
that's my take on it.
Yes, yes, yes. That's insecure. And like you said, it's really important for us to cry out to God for whatever it is that we need. And that's why he said, I'll give you the Holy Spirit who will teach you all things and show you all things to come. So we are
It's
not without.
master teacher.
Yeah, we are
It's
not without.
master at it.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
can always go to him. And so that's our bit on influence is that no matter whether you are in an official title, whether you recognize it or not, we are all leaders. There's some little girl, some little boy that's watching you, watching everything that you're doing. There's some young adolescent, a teen who is watching you. And they are looking at you and they're making their choices based on what you're saying out of your mouth and the actions that you're taking. They're also looking at you and what you're doing. They're looking to you as a resource for them to make good quality decisions. And so it's important for us to take on the responsibility of saying, well, I never thought of myself as a leader, but I am. And so now I have to make executive decisions. I am the CEO of my life, my career, my business. I have to make executive decisions. I have to make sure that I'm cognizant and always present and strategic and intentional about the things that I do and say. And then we'll see how the relationships begin to flourish across the domains, across your life, across your job and your job setting, your professional life, in your business. You'll see the relationships begin to flourish because now you are being proactive as a leader. And we're just so thankful for you, thankful for this time that we've had together, and just sharing with you and allowing us to be in your space, and to influence you to make
Absolutely. In a good way.
Yes, yes, to influence you in a good way because we're believing God for your greatness. We're believing God that we tap into and unleash your unlimited potential to succeed. And that's what this show is all about. It's about all things business, but in business, we have to build character. And character will also directly affect how well we grow, how fast we grow, and how we're able to manage and to cultivate that growth.
Yes. And character does matter.
Yes.
And with that said, we are out of here.
Be blessed, people.
End of our show. Thank you so much for tuning in to First Fridays with Marissa and Chris. And until next time, peace out.